So, I thought of a what if, another what if kind of swap, like characters who live and die switch. And this time it's not a JoJo this time. So it's just going to be two random characters, a side villain and a JoBro. Today we're going to talk about what would happen if Keichō survived but Okuyasu died. Slash what if Okuyasu died instead of Keichō, slash what if Keichō survived instead of Okuyasu, slash what if Keichō survived and Okuyasu didn't, or whatever you want to call it. So, this is going to be kind of short video, I'm assuming. I'm not 100% sure yet. We'll kind of see when I actually get to the end part, and I'll then judge to see if it'll be a short or long video, but I thought it was an interesting video, and I'll see what could change. So let's talk about what would happen if Keichō and Okuyasu's roles were switched, and Okuyasu died while Keichō got to survive, shall we? So let's talk about the first part to change in this little what if. Diamond is unbreakable, aka Diamond is not crashed. By the way, they call it Diamond is not crashed because that was like a translation name or something, or I don't remember. I think it was like a translation error or something, I don't remember. But, either way, yeah, we gotta talk about that part first, because that's the first part to change out of this what if. So, having this happen, how does it work? Well, legitimately, there's an obvious reason on how it would work. So, if you remember during the Chili Pepper introduction, like during the Nijimura brothers fighting the Red Hot Chili Pepper stand, no, they didn't fight Chili Pepper, but like, you get what I mean. Like when Chili Pepper invaded them after the Josuke fights. Okuyasu almost got donutted, but Keichō took it from him instead. So for the sake of this what if, it's gotta be Okuyasu who gets donutted. So for the sake of this, there's like two case scenarios. Scenario 1, Keichō does warn him, but he just doesn't listen. Scenario 2, Keichō does not notice in time, and Okuyasu does get donutted. Or scenario 3, it's the roles are switched and Okuyasu saves Keichō from being a donut. Either way, Okuyasu dies and he's been donut by Akira and Chili Pepper. How does the story change? Well, after that, Okuyasu's role's not that big. Like, to be honest, like, he does fill a big role, but, like, he plays more as Josuke's best friend in those roles, being in the Bizarre Adventure. And realistically, you could argue, well, what about the Slice of Life adventures? Well, like, Koichi could play those roles, in my opinion. Like, the fight against, not the fight, but, like, the introduction of, like, Tonio when they were eating Italian food. Koichi could maybe just take Okuyasu's place in that arc, or maybe you can have someone else do it. Maybe you can introduce Shingeki earlier to play that role Okuyasu played in the beginning. The kind of idiot sidekick of Josuke for a bit. Until he still dies, but yeah. Akira's the first arc to talk about here. Keichō would probably just go to jail, and Jotaro would bail him out so he could help him. But how would the story change? Well, putting Keichō in that place of Okuyasu, Keichō would do a lot better than Okuyasu. While granted, Okuyasu has a stronger stand with the hand, Okuyasu wasn't the best stand user. Keichō, on the other hand, is a really good stand user and was very technical and was a genius. He had a lot of experience. So realistically, him fighting against Akira would lead to him winning. While granted, his stand doesn't do super, like a bunch of damage like you would assume it would. But the damage it does deal is pretty deadly, so he could do good against Chili Pepper. But I mean, they never stated who's stronger. I assume there's a part of me that thinks Keichō is stronger, hence why Chili Pepper attacked him. But another part of me thinks Chili Pepper is stronger because it's just got all-around better stats and has better feats. It basically did better against Josuke to a point where he actually defeated him. So it's a very close battle. I still think Akira would escape, but however, he'd have to find a new way to escape because Keicho's not an idiot. He'd probably hijack the motorcycle and, I don't know, do something crazy to get out of there. Maybe hijack one of his little tanks to then attack Keichō and then drag him to an outlet. But then, while at the process, Keichō loses a limb and Josuke heals it back onto him. So, yeah. Keichō does end up almost dying, but he gets saved. and then Keichō could just play the same role as Okuyasu did. But now when it comes to the boat arc, like when they go against Akira, now at this point, Okuyasu's entire role, Okuyasu just got lucky. Now Keichō would instead probably big brain Akira into revealing himself, unlike Okuyasu who just punched the guys to see which guard was Akira at the end. So he just randomly guessed. Keichō probably would not do the same thing and would probably think of a new strategy to defeat them. Or maybe Jotaro takes a place and Jotaro does it instead, which seems very in character for Jotaro, I may add. But and it'd be nice to get another Jotaro and Joseph dialogue speech together. So yeah, Keichō is defeated. I mean, not Keichō, but Akira is defeated. Now, the rest of the story, Okuyasu's slice of life adventures with Josuke can be replaced. Like, look for a new idiot sidekick to take that role. I mean, you could use Hazumata, the puppet kid, to take that role. You could have Koichi take that role. Shingeki could take the role of the idiot sidekick. Yukako could take the role. Not Yukako as the idiot sidekick, but like, I don't know. Someone who could play the role as Josuke's best friend. I say Koichi'd be the best friend, but he wouldn't be an idiot sidekick. Koichi was pretty smart, so I'll say he's probably a lot smarter than Okuyasu. But ultimately, when it comes down to it, a majority of the story would not change at this point. Like, for a while, there'd be no changes. Like, the slice of life adventures would change, and it'd just be different characters with Josuke. Like, for example, maybe Tower of Grey, the fight with the whole giant building. Maybe Okuyasu's role is just replaced with someone else. Maybe it's just Josuke and Mikutaka. I think I pronounced his name right. Mikutaka. Maybe it's Josuke, Mikutaka, and someone else from Part 4. Majority of the Part 4 characters mostly were kind of good guys, so I'll let it slide and assume they could help. I really like a lot of Okuyasu and Josie's little side quests could be replaced with a different character. And then after that, you can then go to the final fight with Kira, which is where where Okuyasu plays a role in. Now, Shingeki still dies, because I don't really think there's no way to prevent that. So I'd assume Keichō goes with Josuke, or Keichō just goes with Jotaro and Koichi, or he goes with Rohan, or maybe he meets Kira earlier and then he dies to bite the dust or something. I don't know, something like that happens. As for Keichō, I mean, not for Keichō, but for Josuke, it depends if Keicho's with them. Okay, so for teaming Josuke and Keichō up against Kira, at that point, how would it go? Off the bat, I don't think they have good teamwork. I mean, I think Keichō and Josuke would be together because Josuke actually lived near the Nijimura household, if I remember correctly, so yeah, they're just gonna kind of be there together, so yeah. They're gonna be there, and they'll probably travel together, so Keichō and Josuke fight Kira. Now, in my opinion, having Keichō fight Kira with Josuke could be an interesting case scenario. It seemed more unlikely that Keichō would know about Kira. Maybe he's the one who stabbed Kira with the arrow, so it could be interesting to see him react to Killer Queen. I think he would know who Kira is, and maybe know about Killer Queen, because I remember him saying he needed a stand that looked for something to kill his dad, and I think Killer Queen could have been that stand. So Keichō more than likely fighting Killer Queen could be an interesting fight. I don't think Bad Company's beating Killer Queen, though, especially when it has Stray Cat now, so yeah. Sorry for the little notification. I got a text from my brother. So, yeah. There's a small little notification on my phone when you heard that little ding, so oh, look, another ding, so I got a text message. Sorry about that part. Yeah, that was kind of a little intermission from the main story. Okay, let's go back to the main story. So where we left off, Keichō and Josuke are fighting Kira, so Keichō probably dies, to be honest. I think Kira's abilities are far better than Keichō's, so he's gonna win. Probably because sheer heart attack. So Kira most likely is defeated. Not defeated, but most likely defeats Keichō and probably kills him. If not the case, then maybe Keichō could survive. I think he could. I mean, if Okuyasu does come back from the dead originally, then maybe Keichō could just go through the same thing and then come back. Maybe that happens. If that doesn't happen, then something else could happen, I guess. But, like, we get, like, Josuke versus Kira still. Something that's gonna get Keichō kind of knocked out of the battle. Maybe he saves Josuke before he could, get killed from Kira, so yeah. Keichō either dies or something. But he needs to play a role that could cause Okuyasu's hand to be useful, because at the end of the day, Okuyasu did one useful thing in part 4, and that was the fact that he was able to save Stray Cat from being used by Kira. Could Keichō do the same thing? Well, it's possible. I mean, if you remember, his Stand-Bad Company like had ropes or something like that. So if they could use ropes, then they could realistically grab onto Stray Cat and pull him out of Kira's stomach, assuming they have that kind of power to do that. So yeah, they could actually get Stray Cat out of there and just take him on. Like Keichō can take him with him, and then he could just raise him like Okuyasu does or something. I don't know, but yeah, most likely, I think Keichō could do that. But if he doesn't, he's not able to do it in time, then Josuke dies, Keichō dies, Jotaro, Koichi, and Rohan is debatable. So having Jotaro, Koichi, and Rohan fight this version of Kira, we'll just assume for the sake of the plot, maybe Josuke and Keichō both die, if you want to go that route, which is a dark route, I'll say, but let's go with that route. Screw it, let's go, boys. Well, Jotaro, he stands a chance. Koichi, probably not. And Rohan, debatable. That's all I'll say. Jotaro most likely wins. He can just stop time and move out of any bubble that goes and aims for him. And then one time it seems Jotaro can just take an absolute crap on Kira like he did in that time when they first met each other. Koichi most likely cannot see it, so he's probably gonna die if that's the case, unless Jotaro is being very protective toward him. And as for Rohan, well, I think he could see it. Rohan's very unique as a character, that he can do a lot of unique / weird stuff. So, like, he's faster, like, he's around the same speed as Made in Heaven, that he can complete his manga deadlines, so maybe he has advanced eyesight to a point where he could see a Stray Cat bubble, unless he pulls something like Josuke, which he does, which seems very in character as he's smarter than Josuke, and by smarter I mean 1,000 times smarter, 1,000,000,000 times to be honest. So he probably grabs some kind of thing, that he maybe grabs some kind of like gravel or dirt and then throws it into the bubble and can see it clearly, like how Josuke used that smoke. Like he used some ashes to do it, so yeah. So I think he would be able to see it, but that's like all depending. Personally, I still think Keichō can just pull the thing out of the, like, I assume he pulls it out, and if he doesn't, then I guess if he's not able to pull Stray Cat out, then Josuke and him both die. Same with Hayato, debatably, but I doubt Kira would kill him, so yeah. Overall, Kira would still be defeated whether Josuke dies or not, because Jotaro's there. He was the big important character at the end of the day. Koichi could use the 3 freeze to hold down his hand, and then Jotaro could just stop time and kill him. Realistically, all those characters are able to kind of play a big part in that fight. The only thing is that Stray Cat is most likely killed with Kira, I guess, in this timeline. So Stray Cat doesn't get a happy ending this time, like Okuyasu. But, whatever. The rest of the story would not change. Part 5 and 6 don't really have Josuke involved in it, so even if Josuke does die, it's not going to change. Keichō, I doubt, would be involved in Part 5 or 6, but on a side note, if he was in 6, him versus John Gallier could be a pretty cool fight, and if he were in Part 5, I would like to see him team with Narasha. But those are some possibilities to come out of that what if, but most likely, he's only in Part 4. He probably dies in Part 4, but then again, he could save Josuke from Stray Cat. But however, I do assume that there is a chance that if he doesn't save Stray Cat, worst case scenario is Josuke dies in that spot. And that, because he was super close to dying, and if it weren't for Okuyasu coming back, like, I don't think Bad Company is able to do nothing. If he pops the bubble, I still think the bubble will explode and just kill Josuke with it. So there's a better chance Josuke's dying, and that's not a good thing. I mean, like, it's not going to change nothing if Josuke dies, granted, but, like, it's not a good thing, because I don't want Josuke to die, and I don't think none of his fans, or I don't think many people in JoJo want to watch Josuke die. He's a fan favorite, come on. Not Rocky would even want to do it either. So maybe Keichō does find a way to pull the Stray Cat out, and then the story can just not change at all. And at that point, that's kind of the video. There's nothing else I could think of to add to this. The only real changes are that Okuyasu's slice of life arcs can be replaced with different characters playing his roles. Keichō would be pretty useful in a lot of the battles that Okuyasu was in, like the big main fights. And then the final fights, there's a better chance there's more casualties, even resolving around the main character's death. But yeah, that's kind of the what if. Thanks for watching, and I hope you enjoyed.